Hi everyone, this is Ritu again on your favorite show, I hope by now, the Ritu podcast show. And I am very excited to bring you today a very interesting guest for you, Babita Kukureja. She's with me today. And Babita is, I'm just gonna, she works as a high school administrator in Newark Public Schools, and she supervises the math and science department. She coaches teachers on how to teach math in a way that engages students in a productive way, which is a great and amazing job. So, welcome to my show, Babita. Thank you so much for coming on. And can you please give a brief introduction of yourself to my viewers today?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me, Ritu. This is kind of funny that we have always met in get-togethers and parties, and this is our first real conversation on Zoom.
Yeah.
So, uh, yeah, so I'm also looking forward to getting to know you more. I am Babita Kukreja. For my bread and butter, yeah, I work in Nova Public Schools and work as a high school administrator, as you said. This is my 20th year in education and in Newark. Um, on a personal level, I am a woman who is trying to consistently work on myself every single day, learning and growing every moment of the day, and trying to be a better piece than yesterday. And truly, my life is guided around 4 different pillars that I have decided for myself that I practice every single day. And those are kindness, communication, courage, and awareness. And I feel like every decision that I'm making on daily basis are guided by these principles here. So that's a little bit about me. I came to US in 1995, so it's been about 29 years. And I am a proud mama of 2 children, and my daughter is 30 and my son is 26. Um, I know every parent loves their children. I just make a joke. I am in love with my children. They literally hypnotize me. I can be with them and talk to them forever. I can't stop talking about that. And I live in Sayreville. We moved 4 years ago. And my husband and I are, building a little life over here. Both of the kids live together with us. And I'm at a beautiful phase of my life right now where we have 4 adults living their own lives and connected, but not connected every single day at every moment. And I am just enjoying this phase of my life.
That's amazing, Babita. Thank you so much for sharing that. And like you said, Babita, you and I have met each other socially so many times, but and maybe we did not have one-on-one conversations, but I always got a very friendly and warm vibe from you. And at the same time, you appear to be very sharp and intelligent person.
Aw.
So I am so glad that you've agreed today to come here, and we can I know we have a lot to talk about and very less time, but we'll try to get everything in today as much as we can. And how I've done that is to get an insight into your life is through a book that we're going to discuss today. But before even I get into the book, I wanted to ask you, Babita, how has been your own reading journey? Because every time I have spoken to people, and it's just very interesting and intriguing to me to find out how and when they started to really read, books or got into books or what sort of books they enjoy. So tell me a little bit about that. Like, how did you get into books? Were
Mhm.
you always into them, or how that journey started for you?
So I know that I've always been into reading, but when I came here 95, I think since 1996, I've been watching Oprah Winfrey, her talk
Mhm.
show for all these years. And when you watch Oprah show and she brings all the authors and you just can't sit and not buy those books. And
Exactly.
I think that I became such a consistent reader. I don't know how many books I bought and how many books I read. But it's I always say life is all about awareness, and every decision you make in life is directly proportional to the level of awareness you have. And
Mm,
how do you increase level of awareness? It's either through social networks. You and I are talking, learning, growing from each other, right?
exactly. Yeah.
You watching some programs that build your awareness, or in your professional setting, or you read books. That is the best way to increase the level of awareness.
Yeah.
And I don't read as much as I should be, because I got into podcasts these days, and I listen to at least two podcasts every single day during my drives. And so the books have become a little bit less, but still it is my soul and heart are there.
And I
Yeah.
think I can say this on behalf of all the readers that they always think they should be reading more than they already are. So I think you're not
Yeah.
alone. So thank
Yeah.
you for sharing that, Babita. Thanks a lot. I know for me, I love books. I have collected so many books in my house, and I have a dream that one day I would have had read all of them, but I just get hold of any book that I have heard about, which is great, and I like it. I just buy them. So I'm a book collector and a book reader, but I should be more of a reader than a collector. But at the
I,
same time, I also collect gems like you who read books,
oh,
and I get insight from them from what they have read, and that way hopefully I'm contributing to having that knowledge dispersed in the universe for everybody else as well, for people who haven't read those books, or if they want to go and check that book out as well for them. So that's my motive to be here and be talking to you. So again, thanks again, uh for sharing that. So let's get straight away into the book that we are going to discuss today, explore today. I know it's a book called Conscious Parenting, by Dr. Shefali Tisbury. And why don't you tell me, why did you decide to read this book, and did it actually um, live up to your expectations? And if you want to talk a little bit about the author, what you thought about her, please.
yeah. So let me ask you, have you read this book?
I have not completely read this book, but yeah, I am aware of what this book pertains to. I know that it's you can say unconventional ways of raising children in ways where the parents are not overwhelmed and the kids are not overwhelmed, and
Right.
so many layers into how parenting should be, and how we have as parents have to overcome our past preconceived notions and growing up and trauma, if to say it. So to overcome those and be a objective parent, so that's what I gathered from the book. But yeah, uh
Yeah.
what did
So
you
I
think?
read this in 2010 or 11. Um, and this is a book that I have gifted to so many of my friends who
Wow.
were either struggling with raising the kids, because raising the children is the hardest job in this world.
It is.
And so this is one of my, by far, the most favorite author, the most favorite book, and my most favorite topic. Like I
Mhm.
absolutely stop talking about this, but I'm just going to read two sentences from the book, because that actually summarizes the whole book, and then I'll just go a little bit deeper into.
Mhm.
Um, she talks about when you parent, it is crucial you realize you're not raising a mini me, but a spirit throbbing with its own signature. For this reason, it's important to separate who you are from who each of your children is. Children are not ours to possess or own in any way. When we know this in our depths of our soul, we tailor our raising of them to their needs rather than molding them to fit our needs. And it just, these two sentences are just so deep. Um, when we think about parenting, whether we think about our parents or the way we raise them. So this book is mostly about the practice of being mindful and being aware of who we are as a parent. And with the deep, authentic understanding of how our physical and mental well-being truly affects our relationship to our children. And this is something we as parents, majority of the adults don't understand that how much it affects our kids also. And this book is a practice of just self-reflection and digging into who we are as parent, as opposed to raising a child. So it's
Right.
basically raising ourselves and not raising a kid only, right?
Yeah.
So Dr. Shefali talks about why majority of us do not practice conscious parenting. And I feel she's talking to mostly South Asian parents, because I
Yes.
see that there. And as South Asian parents, we all somehow are dealing with some kind of childhood trauma. And I'm not saying trauma where somebody was beating us up, that
Or
not that kind
abuse.
of trauma,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But we are we're carrying burden of so many unfulfilled desires with us, and I that we never take time to address them as we grow
Mm,
into adulthood, right? and and I think why we're carrying all those, because when we were being raised in that society, there was a norm of a hierarchy of relationship between parent and child. Parent was the controller, the child was to obey them, and
mm-hmm.
that's how parents described
Yeah.
it is very obedient,
Yeah.
because I entitled, I gave the birth to my child, I
Mm.
own my child, I control not only from the moment the child is born, I'm going to control who they play with, who their friends are, what school they go to, what major they pick, what career they pick, who do they marry, where do they live. Why? Because I have calculated a path for my child. This is how my
Mm.
child is going to
Yeah.
be the doctor. So I need my child to be the doctor. And what
Mm.
Dr. Shefali talked about, that nobody's being evil. Parents are not being evil at all. They're doing everything in the name of love. And they say, well, I love my child. I love my child. That's why I know what's best for my child. And what was happening during that time when the parents were exercising their control on us, nobody asked us, like, what do you want? Is there something
Yes.
you want differently that is different from what parents expected? And then throughout our childhood, you then you become the parent, and you don't know anything better, because growing up into adulthood, we haven't done any work on ourselves to break that generational trauma.
Mm.
We repeat subconsciously, we repeat the same cycle again, that
Yes.
I own you, you are my child. So and when I was I think I watched her first TED Talk in 2010. I watched her on Oprah's show, and then I watched her first TED Talk. And then I ended up reading the book. And that TED Talk, I must have shared with 50 people by now.
Yeah.
Like everybody that I talked to, I said, you got to watch this 11 minutes TED Talk, right?
Yes. Yes.
And that's what really shook me off, because I I used to believe I'm a phenomenal parent till 2010. I maybe I didn't say it. I wasn't vocal enough. I didn't say it on a microphone that, hey, I need a Nobel Prize here, because I thought I am an involved. I am engaging with my parents. I'm present and I'm there. And that's what I was, always craving for it. I'm doing it. So, my kids are doing very well. And when I watched her show, and when I read the book, and I say, holy crap, let me just take a back seat, because I am doing subconsciously all of the things that were done to me, not in that rigorous way, but I was still doing those kind of things, right?
Yeah.
So now, because I have read the book, I have done a lot of work on myself, as on my personal growth. I am now quickly I have the ability to quickly pull myself out of that situation, because I know that was not the right way. This is not how we
Yeah.
need to do it. And my children are also not hesitant at all to pause and say, Dr. Shafali would not approve this. This is not a conscious parenting move. And that is the time, that's the ego. That's not you. That's not
Yeah.
mommy talking about. So I just know that this book has impacted me in such a profound way that I have built a relationship with my children. It has become so much better. It's so much work in progress. I'm still doing those things that are guided by ego because they're my children and these are my expectations. But I have gotten so much better in the last 14, 15 years that I am so proud of myself for doing
Yeah.
the work, because now I'm a, and I talk about that.
Yeah.
So
And I think it's a work in progress,
you know,
Babita. Yeah, because I'm a parent too. I have two boys, twins. They are 10 years, and every day, you doubt yourself whether I'm doing the right thing with my kids. Am I raising them to be, independent individuals? How things will pan out for them, and am I doing everything that I should be doing? And I agree to everything that you just said, that we want to, and a lot of it is also, I think it's unconscious, right? That's why I think it's called the book is called Conscious Parenting, because what we're doing unconsciously is what has been our conditioning for years, how we've been raised, and what we think is right, and we think that's right for our kids as well, right? So like you said, nobody wants ill for their kids. They are doing the best, what they think is best for them. But with books like these, it's, I think, not just being a good parent is what this book is going to teach you, but probably it's going to teach you how to be a better person, right? And once you,
that is exactly what it's talking about. That if you like, I look at my circle, and if I take a sample of 100 people, I find maybe people who I can count on my fingers who are in the habit of self-reflecting on daily practices, like on daily basis, like what did I do that I went out of alignment, out of all the principles that I find myself comfortable in? Did I do something? Did I say something? A lot of people do not reflect that. And if you do not reflect, you're not growing into the person that you aspire to be, right?
yeah,
If you are not growing as a person, that reflects into every single thing, whether you talk about parent or a professional. Because I see in the school also, I work with a lot of teachers and a lot of students, and if you're not growing as an adult, I can't help you to become a good teacher because you're not
yeah,
self-reflecting.
yeah,
So that trait just falls over every
yeah,
category
yeah,
here.
yeah. No,
um and
I agree.
how can we get into essence of our children when we barely look into ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm,
We're
mm-hmm.
not connected with ourselves, so only we can make a connection with our own children, you
Yeah,
know.
and these
um
days, Babita, kids are very, they are very outright sometimes with their opinions. So if they think, even if as a parent I'm doing something and they think it's not right, they will just tell me sometimes that, but Mama, you did the same thing the other day and you asking me to not. So how is that fair? Things of such nature. So kids are very sharp, intelligent, aware, exposed. So it's even more important in today's day and age to learn some techniques and tools from experts like Dr. Shifali, Sibari, and people like you, who are actually, you deal with kids day in and day out, and I'm sure these tools and techniques come handy when you're dealing with issues at school with children and even with parents. So I really think that this was a great book to choose today, that we discussed and explored more. And yeah, I mean, I don't know if you want to share some specific example from the book that resonated with you, and you read and you thought, oh my God, that's just struck the right chord. If you want to share, or otherwise, just like, if you just want to sum up with
there is
what,
a lot,
yeah,
however, I don't remember chapter by chapter because I've read it a long time ago.
yeah, yeah,
However,
yeah.
two or three things that I can think about that um she talks about teaching gratitude to the children, and I see that in school system also, the generation that is being especially I deal with high school students, so I can only talk about high school at this moment. The kids, because they don't practice gratitude at all, no matter what you do for them, one thing you say, something that's not in alignment with them, and they forget everything what's going on, right? So that's something, I was always in the practice of gratitude, but I have learned a lot from that book also, and we do a lot of practice at home. That it's not about just talking, giving the lecture or the guidance to the kids. No kids want to sit home and wants to learn from the experience of their mommy and daddy. This is
Yep.
not how people learn, right?
Exactly.
They just watch us, how we make decisions on daily basis, and they're just imitating those. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I that's something I'm very intentional about it. Like we're sitting on the dining table, and sometimes they get tired also, I would have always some question ready, some kind of very simple question, and we don't have to wait till Thanksgiving to
Yeah.
express the gratitude
Yeah.
anytime that like, let's talk about it. Let's for the last month, for the last week, what are
Yeah.
you grateful about it?
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
more you teach them to think about and practice gratitude, and the better human being they become. And I always say that I cannot stop talking about it, that the parents, especially South Asian parents, when they talk only about my kid has to do this in high school so that they can get in Ivy League schools,
Yeah.
when this is the only purpose you have, and I know many of them right now that your our purpose is to make them good human beings.
Yeah.
Yeah, education is important. It was never an option in my house. Getting A's and B's, we didn't talk about you have to get A's, you get B's. And my question was always, are you okay with the B?
Mm-hmm.
If you're
Mm-hmm.
okay with the B, then it's a different conversation. If
Yes.
you're not okay with the B, then let's talk about it. What can we
Yeah.
do a little bit more
Yeah.
about it, right? So getting into Ivy League is not the purpose of raising the children, right?
Yeah.
So Dr. Shefali talks about three elements. They said, what can we expect now from children? If we say, okay, we give them the birth, we can own them, they're into their own personality. So do we have any right? Can we expect anything from our children living in the same house? So she talks about three elements only. And she says, we can expect them to respect themselves, and we have to teach them, and we have to take a proactive role in doing that. We have to teach them how to respect others. That is our full responsibility while we're raising the kids, that they understand what respect is, right?
Mm.
And the third part, we have the right to be considered safety. So she says respect for them, respect for others, and the safety. Beyond that, if we say or do or expect anything, that is working out of ego, not working out of our authentic self. And beyond
Mm.
that, children have the right to own their life and to manifest in any possible way. And reading that as a South Asian parent, trust me, it is a lot of unlearning to do that.
Yes.
Oh my God. I mean, I can't expect anything else. But when you start working on yourself, you say, hold on, I have so much work to do. Why am I worrying about children? Children are going to be okay as growing up over here.
Yeah.
I need to think about myself over here. So it has been quite a journey
Yeah. Yeah.
of, and another thing that I can think about, she talks about not giving the advice, meaning, and I still do that mistake, and I still, I recognize it, and I come out of this. So when my children are telling me something, and I'm trying to be a good listener, and I'm trying to pay attention and be present there, but I try to infuse my own suggestion. Oh, well, you could have done this, or
Mm-hmm.
you can do this. And she talks about it that they don't need the advice all the freaking time.
Yeah.
When they're talking about their incident, attention to that, be present in that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's a constant work that I'm doing on
Yeah.
myself.
Yeah.
When they are telling me their own story, I don't need to bring my 54 years of experience to them
Yes.
and
Yes.
burden them with, oh, you could have done this, you should have done
Yeah.
this, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's always work.
No,
But the
that's a
more you
great
let go,
example,
the better.
Babita. Yeah, that's an amazing example because
Yeah.
that happens to us every day and doesn't matter what age your child is. Even a 5-year-old comes home from school and tells you about stories at school, this happened, that happened, and same thing as they grow older. The stories change, but they still want to share it with their parents, and all parents would and unconsciously do that, oh, this happened, that happened, you should have done that, you should have handled it this way, that way, but all they're trying to do is to be being heard, so just listen to them, and then yeah. So great, that this
That's
is amazing, Babita. I
yeah.
am so excited that we did this, and you gave so many valuable insights on the book and also about parenting in general. So, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And I would want to bring you back on my podcast again to talk about other books or life in general or anything else. You've been an interesting guest, and I hope the viewers will enjoy as well. And I hope you enjoyed the interview. So thank you again for coming.
Absolutely. And I'm just so proud of you for starting this podcast, and good luck to you. And this is such a great way of spreading the knowledge of the books and learning and growing. This is one of the biggest way we all can grow, to be talking like this on this kind of platform.
Yeah, great. Thank
So
you. Thank you
good
so
luck.
much. I appreciate your encouragement, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.